So, welcome back to the Road Back Home podcast.
Yes, sir. Welcome back on the way home.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Picking up, pick up any gems on the way?
Gyms?
Gems.
Gem. No, this is the only thing right here.
What is this?
It's a shirt I got from Goodwill.
From where?
Goodwill?
Before the watermelon was cool.
You know what this is for?
I know, but that's before it meant that.
Free watermelon,
You know what I'm
boy.
saying? Yeah, don't be shy.
I mean, I'm from there.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm from there.
Yeah. But like, this is, you know, they didn't make this prior to the thing. So you were just like,
I think I got this. This was the company that made it. I think it's H&M.
hmm.
I think they support Israel.
Yeah, they didn't know that, one of their collections was gonna work against them.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a shirt that has one of our friends, he has a coffee shop in San Diego, right?
Mm.
And he wanted to compete.
Humble Bean.
Humble Bean, shout out
What is
Humble
it?
Bean. He had this
Coffee's alright.
no coffee's fire.
It's phenomenal.
The sandwiches are fire too. And he had a shirt where on the back it said anti Starbucks coffee club. And I've just been rocking that for like videos and whatever. Shout out Humble Bean, whatever. And now that shirt has a different meaning. I used to just like that shirt. So now when I walk around, people think I'm boycotting Starbucks, which I am.
Yeah.
But now they're like, you just gonna wear that?
Yeah.
So I get people like, hey man, like
Is it associated?
is associated. Well, they didn't ask. Two people, one of them was like, oh, I feel bad. I just had Starbucks. That's one lady said. And the other one was like, good on you. And then some other dude was just like, so did he used to work at Starbucks? Swear to God, this guy like fully asked me. Like, I'm like, brother, do you not know what's going on in the world?
A lot of people don't.
How? Like, you honestly dead. If like, there's no way you don't know what's going on in the world. And he asked me like, you're boycotting. Like, it looks like my shirt is boycotting Starbucks, and you think the reason why anyone would boycott Starbucks is because they used to work there? You're insane. No.
They got a bad grudge.
Yeah, who does that? It's just like those ex-Muslims. Like, like, get over it. Just move on.
I made the shirt too at home.
Yeah.
I bought a whole shirt pressing print to make this one shirt.
No, that's wild. I was that mad.
That mad. Finished working a minimum wage job just to go spend another $500.
I spent like 2 hours worth of my payout to make this shirt.
Hey, don't cross me wrong. There's this, there's a saying.
Hmm.
I forgot it completely. But
Hmm.
the gist is it has to do with the fact that you never want to get on someone's bad side. There's nothing worse than like a spiteful person or someone who wants to get vengeance on you. So be careful what you say to someone or how you treat them, because if it triggers that mode, they will literally do anything to destroy your life. And I was like, that's pretty crazy. You gotta be careful sometimes.
Really? Yeah. How far have you been pushed, brother?
Listen, my brother, if this podcast don't work out.
Oh, then it's on site for me? Hey, man, I'm trying my hardest, right?
Yeah.
But so what are we talking about today?
Honestly, my brother, let me know. Is there a cheat code to life? I just want to be successful. There gotta be some type of cheat code. X, X, Y, square, circle, triangle.
Oh, you talking GTA codes?
All right or left. Maybe a Lambo falls from the sky.
For life?
For life.
Cheat code?
Yeah.
Being born into wealth. Yeah. That's the cheat code.
Ship has sailed, essentially, is what you're trying to say.
Well, I'm just saying, listen, brother, if that hasn't happened, just put some weights in your pocket and just walk into the sea. You know what I'm saying? Just give up already. You know what I'm saying? That, or actually, I had this conversation with somebody a long time. Like, would you rather be born into wealth or born as someone who's like royal?
Yeah.
What would you choose? Royalty or just regular?
What's the difference? Oh, so like royalty comes with wealth and status versus wealth is like not necessarily
wealth and like
status.
yeah.
That's a tough one.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so easy for me.
You'd go
wealth
royalty
every day. No,
but you're saying royalty comes with wealth. It's not one or the other, right?
No. It's wealth, pure wealth. No one knows who you are.
Okay.
Or maybe like some people. Like let's say you got rich off of like, clothes or something.
Yeah.
And then versus being like a prince of something.
Yeah, but if you're a prince of something, you're balling, you're wealthy.
No, I understand, but both scenarios you're wealthy.
Oh, okay.
But one of them you're a prince.
Got it. And one of them you're unknown.
And one of them you're unknown.
Oh.
That's hard for you?
Yeah, because there's so much. Yeah, bro, status. People knowing you, people like.
You want that?
I feel like deep down everybody wants. Remember the aspect of praise that we were talking about last episode?
Yeah.
There's an intrinsic, don't get me wrong, when life like really sucks,
Hmm.
there are moments where I just don't want to be known. Right? There are moments where I just be like, I'd rather nobody know me or what have
But
you.
yeah, that's because like you no shouting
You're
your pants. You're
depressed.
just like, nah, I don't want nobody to see this now.
But no, I'm talking, but like generally speaking, it feels good to be known.
Sure,
I
but
don't know.
for me, it's like to the point where like it makes life difficult to live. No,
Yeah,
right?
no.
Like right now, like for me, TikTok, right? A few people like neighbors and like other people say, hey man, don't you do that? That's like cool, but it doesn't change life, right? It's just like one more person I say hi to when I go to
Yeah.
Costco. Like it's just whatever. But like I know there's and maybe because maybe it's an easier choice to me because I saw both scenarios firsthand, and the people I used to hang out with in Doha, one was an actual prince at the time, which now he's the brother of Sierra, and then another one was like still, I guess, part of that family, balling out of control, but he didn't have as much red tape in his life. Like when we had school events, only one of them could show up. The
Mm,
other one couldn't.
mm.
It wasn't like it's not that he couldn't. He could technically do anything. He could shut it down and just do what he wants. But the amount of security needed for people like for you for me to hang out with him, I went to the theaters with him, and it was me and his bodyguard sat between us.
Yeah. Couldn't share
What?
popcorn.
Huh? Couldn't share popcorn,
Couldn't
nothing.
hold hands.
He said, "You can have two, but you ain't touching this nigga." Like,
You thought you was
yeah,
going on a date.
yeah. Hey man, he asked nice, you know. And then like when we went out to eat, it's never unless he's in school, like actual class. That's the only time I've seen him without security. So I feel like life is just tough.
I've thought about that. No, I'm not gonna lie. Like I've definitely thought, especially when it comes to family, your wife, your kids.
Hmm.
The moment you hit like, let's say Elon Musk status, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos,
Brother, I couldn't pull any of their wives out of a lineup.
you're right. But that's also because they probably spend so much money on literally companies that literally,
Hide photos.
yeah, their entire job is to keep your family safe from anything social media
Mm.
related. So there's also money spent on that. There's a level of like protection on that, the security. It's weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like my nephews would definitely want status. Want people to be,
Yeah,
you want to be known because then you feel like you might have more influence. But then you realize a lot of people who be pulling the strings
don't have any influence.
usually don't. You don't know their names.
Yeah, yeah, that was just interesting for me. But I thought that was okay. Cheat code. I thought
Yeah.
it'd be funny like to have like really rich parents and stuff. But you know, I really do think there's a funny thing that I read online or I watched online actually, where people it's known that like, hey, if I have deadbeat parents or deadbeat father, that I'm gonna become something, right?
Mm,
Like it's just like a it's not actually statistical like fact or anything, but like every person who like just seems to be like make it out the hood had a terrible life to begin with.
mm.
And there was this guy who did a skit, and he basically the skit was him wishing he had a deadbeat father so that he could be successful. And his dad just walks in like all cheery, like, "Hey son, how you doing? You want to go out for a catch?" He's like, "Shit," meaning he's never gonna make it in life, which was hilarious. But there was a little bit of truth to that, not in the sense of deadbeat parents, but like just having a tough beginning.
Mm,
So the one cheat code to quote unquote make it, like if your idea of making it is just money, then yeah, being born into wealth or whatever, that's cool. But if the other, if your actual idea of success is to become something, make something of yourself, then I think having like a tough beginning is almost a cheat code.
mm.
Do you agree?
I agree and I disagree, honestly. I think I disagree more though than I would agree
Hmm.
because it to me a cheat code is something that to a certain extent, regardless of your circumstance, if you apply this, you're going to get somewhere. You're going to begin to achieve certain goals that you set.
It's not a cheat code. That's just doing the work. A cheat code like bypasses something. You know what I mean?
I guess the reason I guess I called it a cheat code is because it's so simple. Like it's something that's so simple, yet will get you so far that so many people don't do. That's So maybe it's not a cheat code.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a cheat. That's like saying, "Hey, man, you know, cheat code to A, study."
No,
What?
no, because that's the difference. Because it's like saying, do you know the cheat code to make money? Work. No, it's more so like study. Okay, what? How do you study? What
Oh,
study?
I see, I see, I see. The
Getting into
nuance.
the yeah, the
My,
nuances
my
because
boy,
it's
nuanced.
you know what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a lot of it is in that detail because it's like it's easy to lose weight. Go to the gym. Okay,
Yeah.
what are you doing in the gym to lose weight? What are you doing outside of the gym to lose weight? It's those things that people overlook. They
Mm,
always set these general vague goals of what they want to achieve in life,
mm,
but then they have no practical steps to get there.
mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, now that I think about it, maybe it's not a cheat code, but in my head, like it is a cheat code, and I'll tell you why actually. You know what? And it relates back to what you were just saying, that tough upbringing.
Mm,
To me, one of the biggest things is time management.
huge.
Huge. Why? But I completely lacked it for like 20 years of my life, maybe more. The way I grew up, right? And like, for example, I love my mom to death.
Mm,
And just like anyone would say, best mother in the world,
mm,
right? But she graduated, I think, the sixth grade.
mm,
So when it came to like academics, when it came to like organization, when it came, these are things that weren't, it wasn't something that she could pass on to me. It wasn't something that she could teach me, right? And so tough upbringing doesn't equal making it out of somewhere. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes it sets you up for failure because you are lacking in certain aspects that develop character or develop good habits. So
mm.
time management was a habit that I never developed. And when I began to develop it, it was so difficult now to try and to try to develop it that late on because you're trying to achieve bigger things.
Mm.
But instead of me planning for those bigger things, I'm sitting here trying to get organized about even, you know what I mean?
I see what you mean. So I agree, and but I also think there's like two sides of this coin, right?
Hmm.
Yes, if you don't get given certain habits at a younger age, that holds you back. But I'm saying, and like if you don't have resources, for example, like some kids, if their parents had the money to live in a better school district, then they would have maybe excelled in school, sure. But I do think that whoever has the hunger, they're gonna get it no matter what.
Hmm.
And sometimes that hunger is only developed, you only get hungry because you were starved. So sometimes that kid that just is in like the best private school isn't reaching for much because everything's always been at his fingertips. So he may get to like 30, 40, and if those things that he wishes to do are not at his fingertips, it's not worth doing. It's impossible. Because I'm used to just things being easy for me.
Hmm.
Versus if I'm that person who's in a school district or doesn't have the resources, but I have that hunger, I'm used to things not working out for me. I'm used to having to do three, four steps in between this and what seems like the next step, right? I'm used to having to jump through hoops to get what it is I want. And I think that's what I mean by having a hard start. Because what does it mean to be successful in this life? The code is easy. It's not a cheat code. This is like the basic like package. If you can do this with some nuance, sure, but we're not going to get into that. This is how you succeed. You pick and choose a field or something that you want to do, whether it be, let's say medical field or even a business or whatever. You choose and pick and choose that thing you want to do. And then you come up with a plan to achieve XYZ, right? And that could be a business plan, that could be like a timetable or a schedule to be able to study to get there, whatever it is, right? You come up with a plan and then you do hard work consistently over a stretched amount of time, like over a long enough amount of time, you are going to win. I don't care who you are, where you stop from. If you follow those steps, you will be successful. Now, I'm not talking about like the freak, accidents where you can do it without doing all that work and it's just somehow you win the lotto, or the freak accidents where like, something just gets hard or whatever, some curveball was thrown at you. I'm talking generally that's how easy it is. Where does the average person start to like, you know, lose their feet in this quest of being successful? It's usually like, I don't know what to do. And even if they chose what it is to do, I don't know how to come up with a plan. I don't know what my plan is. And then the next step is like being like hard work, like, oh, I just don't feel like working today. And then the next thing is consistency. Like, hey, I worked hard last week, but this week I'm trying to chill. Like we get stuck on the simple stuff,
Mm.
right? So the idea at the beginning one where you just choose something to do, we have so much at our fingertips, whether it be like starting a business or going to school or starting a whatever a billion types of businesses there are, that we get stuck with the illusion of, oh my God, there's way too many things. Which one should I do?
But I was thinking,
Yeah.
take it back.
Mm.
Like when you were a kid,
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking I have 1,000 opportunities. I was thinking I just want to play with my friends. I just want to hang out.
Sure.
I just want to go to the mall.
Sure.
I just want to. And my point is, success starts back then. If I was able to understand and someone was able to instill the concept of time management, the concept of thinking ahead, the concept of consequence, the concept of hard work, the concept of, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, again, I'm speaking for myself,
Yeah.
I didn't get that till later,
Yeah.
right?
I don't think we're making different points here.
Hmm.
I think we're essentially saying the same stuff. What I'm saying is like you have to have a hard upbringing that gives you those things.
You mean that natural, that makes you naturally recognize that, or your parents make you
No, no,
recognize
that
that?
that naturally you figure out that you need those skills at an early, like for
That's like
example,
good luck, though.
persistence, for example. Let's say I don't want to, I know, let's say I'm 14, 15 years old and I live in a terrible area. I don't want to be here when I'm 30. And I know that if I do what he's doing or she's doing, I'm gonna be here when I'm 30 or 40. So what do? The opposite of what these people are doing. And so I might go venture out, take a bus, and go out to a different neighborhood and ask. Right? I'm just giving you
Yeah.
hypotheticals here.
But
This is,
you're also giving like one out of the how many would actually, you see what I'm saying?
but
Like,
that's the numbers. How many people are actually successful? It's one out of whatever.
no, because I think that's where I would take a step back. How do you define success? I think ultimately, if you
Mm,
can just provide for your family,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
You have a roof over your head,
mm-hmm,
you have a decent car that works,
mm-hmm.
you're successful.
Okay, but then
You see
then
what I'm
we're having
saying?
different discussions here. I don't know what we're defining as success. I'm meaning like success past the expectations of society.
Hmm.
So past that, right? Yes, I still think, and to some extent, even getting there, because depending on the circle that you're in, that is considered ultra successful,
Yeah.
right? But what I mean by having a hard start, if you're so used to rejection and you're so used to people, treating you a certain way, and you've given up on, the expectations, there's nothing in your way. You're not waiting for a handout. You're just straight like consistency is the least of your worries because you worked so hard just to get out of where you were that if I give you a business opportunity, which majority of us are in a situation where we can actually chase something, right? Even if it's like with modest means, our biggest issue isn't capital or stuff. It's just no one, and I'm talking for myself too. We just don't work hard enough. And that person that made it out of whatever situation, even if they're now on the level playing field as you, they will dust you in this because they're so used to working without handouts.
Hmm.
I'm not saying everybody that's listening to this or whatever is like spoiled or whatever, but I'm talking about myself first, bro. Like I'm not. I feel like my work ethic isn't where it should be. I feel like I can be. Oh, damn, you ain't gotta agree. Yeah, well, like you don't have to agree with me that fast, but like I'm lazy, and my if you ask me my worst fears and what I stress out about, you ask any other person who's really been through something, they're gonna laugh at you. I'm like, that's what you're stressing about. And even you too, like you know me, like stress is like it's like my hobby or something. It's just something I
Oh, send me what you up to.
stress.
I'm stressed.
Yeah,
He blocks it in his calendar.
stress. Do you ever seen those one where there's like a phone call at 3, right? 3 to 4, and like
Wait,
before the phone call, stress about phone call. After phone call, stress about. That's me in every task.
that's good.
That's for me the cheat code. I don't wish this, but kind of having that tough upbringing
Mm.
that would mean that hey, I'm now a lot stronger in this. Like if this life weighed 225, like to be successful. Like, I'm just trying to put in like Jim's perspective. If I grew up walking to school with a heavy duffel bag and having to carry my bags and all these things, I would be much more equipped to be able to bench 225 at my later stages in life versus the kid who just took a car because his family had a driver or a car, whatever, and took him to school. You see what I mean? Like that's like kind of like the example I'm using here.
Yeah.
So that's for me, that's a cheat code.
Living a hard life.
Yeah. I don't want one. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So you didn't have a hard day in your life, huh?
No, I have nothing. But you saying organization, time management,
Yeah.
and what do you think is the cheat code?
Time management is one of them. The other one is time management organization the same thing? They kind of go hand in
Kinda,
hand.
kinda. Uh, you mentioned goal setting,
Goal set.
time management. You didn't have any of that, you said.
No, bro. Honestly, it was and here's the thing. I will say though, it's changed because obviously when I was growing up
Mm-hmm.
and when you were growing up,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't social media like there is today, right?
Yeah.
So 13-year-old me back then and 13-year-old me now had way different access to different resources, right?
Yeah.
So like a 13-year-old now, when they're just regularly scrolling on YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels, will see motivational speaking. We'll see these, this is how you become successful. I just remember being in a bubble. What do you mean successful? Success for me is if my mom gives me $1 for the ice cream truck when it rolling around, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not no, let's sit down. What's your goal when you're 18? What do you want to do? It's like, I'm just trying to pass my classes in high school,
Mm.
right? And that's it.
Do you think any kid had more than that?
I'm saying now I think it's different. I think back then, yes, I think parents play such a huge role. I've seen it firsthand, whether it's in my nieces and my nephews, whether it's in my cousins, and whether it's in friends. Like I see other friends, and again, and I admire these skills that they have, right? Like it's okay to be jealous in something of khair when it comes to like the Islamic perspective, right? But these are good characteristics. They had really good time management skills. They really know how to say no to certain things and not just yes to everything.
You talking about the kids? You talking about the parents?
No, the kids. I'm
Oh,
talking about
wow.
like let's say 14,
They
15.
say no to stuff?
Yeah, bro.
Damn.
I'm telling you, but that all went back to how their parents raised them. There was structure, there was organization. And so when at such a young age, that begins to wire, then it becomes normal to
You
them.
saying you had no structure?
Zero structure.
But you went to school, so there's some structure there.
Even that is just like,
That's not structure to you?
no, that's not structured enough.
That's as much structure as I had. Or I would argue that's as much structure as any kid had.
No, definitely not. I mean, I'm comparing myself to the friends that I had around me. When I go home after school
Yeah.
and I get my homework done, I'm getting it done the morning of in the bus on the way to school. My friends got it done the day before. If there's a project that's due, they have it done a week before. I'm doing it 2 days before. Whatever, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
feel like this is a you problem. You know what I'm saying? Because
no, see, if you didn't have that problem, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
yeah.
That's why I was pushing back about like when your parents are hard on you or a hard upbringing, I guess that needs to be defined. Hard on
Yeah.
you, if they're hard, like my friends' parents were hella hard on them.
Mm,
Their parents were successful. They lived in big houses. But they were hard on their kids.
mm,
I wasn't coming from a financially well-off family at all.
mm,
And my mom was not hard on me when it came to like, because she didn't know any better.
mhm.
See what I'm saying?
So this is as much structure as I probably had, right? This is as much structure as I probably had. Go to school,
Uh,
and your plan, your life plan is to graduate. That is it. You know how I know I'm
That's why we're both sitting here right now.
huh? Well, hey man, damn, you just go do me like this. Like my life goal objective or my objective in life was always told to me like just graduate.
Yeah.
That's it. So when I came back home from school, like you did, I just if I had homework, I would just have to do it.
Yeah.
Now, if I chose to do it the morning off, sometimes I would. If I chose not to do it because I felt like, my grades probably gonna not suffer at all, then I wouldn't. If I knew I had a homie that had the answers and he was just gonna send it to me, I'll just copy, right? But the idea was just like, hey, go to school and graduate. And the way I know that you're doing what you do well is I don't get a call from your school.
Mm.
That was success. If I don't get a call from your school and the report card at the end of the year isn't terrible, you're good. Even if it meant zero time management.
But then, did you have any type of like, okay, TV time, no, no, like going to the mall, limited, going to friends' house, limited.
questions
like
like, for example,
limitations.
let's say I'm watching TV. Hey, did you do your homework? Yeah. Uh,
They're good.
you're good. You didn't do your homework? Go do your work. Come back.
Mm,
At the most,
yeah.
it was like, did you do what is the bare minimum? And then you
But let me tell you,
yeah.
if that wasn't the case
Mm,
and it was more structured, okay, you're watching TV, you're only allowed to watch TV at these times. At these times, you're doing your homework.
mm,
When you're done doing your homework, then you're gonna do this. You're gonna fold clothes and you can contemplate your life and how you came to existence,
yeah.
right?
If that was life, I don't think I'd be here today.
What, you think you'd kill yourself or you?
Probably, brother. I hated chores.
But you get my point.
Yeah,
I think when kids have discipline from an early age,
yeah.
that's what it is. It's discipline.
Mm,
It becomes instilled in them. It becomes hardwired. SubhanAllah, like look, as much free choice as we have,
mm.
it's like I have a daughter. I can see how she's almost right. She has her own personality. SubhanAllah, it's like it's just crazy to see, but it's almost like a blank canvas to a certain extent. What you are like instilling within her brain and her mind is really going to shape who he or she is going to be.
That's a fear of mine. But
It's
yeah,
scary. It's very scary.
yeah,
Okay, it's the biggest blessing. Oh my God, it's amazing, but it's one of the scariest things to go through.
yeah,
And to think 10 years from now is even more scary,
yeah.
because I understand that these first 3, 4, 5, 6 years will literally determine how she reacts to a lot of things because it's become hardwired
Mm,
and it becomes a habit. It becomes instilled, and that's what I'm saying. It's like if those things were instilled in me as a young kid. Oh, you're crying for candy? I'm not just gonna give you candy because you're crying. You need to listen to my directions and to my rules. It's discipline. So that's another quote unquote cheat code. I wish I had discipline instilled in me from a very young age.
okay, but my question is it discipline just for the sake of discipline? Or is it discipline to do what you need to do in order to be successful? Because if your parents told you, hey, you're not watching TV anymore, go do XYZ, just fold clothes.
No, no. So for example, with my daughter, even she hasn't even turned 3 yet, right? Even now, I'm done with a 2 year old, a 2.5 year old. I'm explaining every single thing. My wife and I do that. Oh, she wants to have candy. You can't have candy right now. Why? Because, Baba, if you have too much candy, there's too much sugar, and it's gonna eat your teeth, and your teeth are gonna go bad, and then we're gonna have to go to the doctor and dentist. They're gonna have to give you a shot. You want a shot? Oh no, I don't want a shot. Okay, that's why.
Mm.
Oh, Baba, you can't watch too much TV. Why, Baba? Because Baba's gonna hurt your eyes and it's gonna hurt your brain, and then you're not gonna be able to go to school. So there's explanation behind it all.
Mm.
You begin to build that.
But that's just parenting. That's not discipline, really, right? Discipline would be like, hey, one candy as opposed to four.
No, bro,
No?
it's there's I think there's like a good, it merges somewhere. Like there's a lot of overlap
Mm.
in that between, you said, discipline and parenting.
Yeah.
There's a merge in it,
Okay.
because what is good parenting? Every parent will tell you something else.
Okay. So, because I'm looking at me again, and I'm like, okay, if it wasn't for school, like outside of school, like summer, I couldn't tell you what day it was.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Legitimately could not tell you for 2 months. But I look back now and I'm happy I got that because I don't have that now.
Mm,
Summer starts, rent's still June,
yeah,
rent's still June in July, August, right? So there's no stopping now. So I'm like, well, at least I got to be a kid.
yeah, yeah.
You're right. I'm not saying to my detriment, like, yeah, like I wouldn't like if my parents didn't put me in school and I never learned how to read and write, I'd be upset. I wouldn't know how to tell you I'm upset because I'll be illiterate, right? You're right. But I would say, hey, I'm mad. Like, I wouldn't say that, but I would be upset because I'm like, damn, I should have learned this when I was younger.
Yeah.
But I don't wish to be like have every hour in the day dedicated to
Not
something.
every hour.
I know what you mean. I know what you
Yeah.
mean. I guess maybe I'm using an extreme. I even know a cousin of mine whose dad pulled him out of what you would call like one of those really bright students. They put them in like a separate,
Honors,
not honors,
AP.
like younger at the younger age, like the
Uh,
gifted kids program where they
okay.
like they study more.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
he didn't want his kid to be part of that. He's like, I want them to be kids
Yeah. That
because
that
they'll
makes
be,
sense to a certain
yeah,
extent. Yeah,
if
that
they're
makes sense.
smart, they'll be successful anyway.
Yeah.
But just let them be kids. And so, yeah, I don't think we disagree on it. I just think,
The reason it seems like a disagreement is because at the end of the day, this is my experience, and this is how I'm interpreting it, and you're interpreting your experience.
yeah,
Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
and from my experience, I've seen the other kids, And I see maybe there were some like I could see how some of the kids who maybe their parents were too hard on them did end up lashing out and doing things that I didn't necessarily do
Yeah.
because maybe I loved my parents so much I didn't want to disappoint them. Whereas for them, they wanted to get on their parents' nerves because their parents were too strict. You know how kids do that, right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want to spite their parents. So,
Mm.
so I could see like there has to be a balance for sure.
So when did you ever figure out the time management, or do you still think you're a work in progress, or what? Or
Definitely a
or
huge
discipline,
work in
etc.
progress. Huge work in progress.
When did it start, and where are you right now in the process?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you where it started. But I feel like I began to take it more seriously for sure when I went into Berkeley
Okay. Didn't just say college. You had to name drop.
because we've already name dropped it in the past. So
Okay, I'm checking.
I get some traction. Go Bears!
So what was that? Was that because of that's still school? So did you suddenly stop doing assignments last minute, or what?
No, unfortunately not. That was when I began to learn, my friend. There was a lot of last minute assignments. No, but like I feel like that's where it was. You become surrounded with these people who are just you think they're gifted, but they're not. They're disciplined.
Hmm.
You think they're gifted, they're not. They work hard.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where some of that like where like if this was instilled in me, if I had had these skills that I had developed, it's like I'll give you an example. Like I had a kid, I'm not gonna name him, but great brother, Muslim, who was amazing at coding. Okay, and I'm giving you this example with coding, but apply it to discipline. Apply it to literally anything in life.
Hmm.
And from a young age, his parents put him in coding. And so at the age of 17, he's at Berkeley in a coding class in which a project that would take me 3 weeks to do, he can do in a day.
Wow.
Okay. Why? He's not a genius. Okay. He was coding since he was 5,
Okay, but let's take away
6.
coding and say his parents made him full clothes.
No, let's say his parent. See, that's the difference.
Hmm.
You're taking a specific scenario. You're not seeing the character it's building. They're building character
Okay,
of discipline.
I'm trying to understand this from your point of view.
I'm looking at the skill of coding,
Hmm.
the skill of folding clothes,
Hmm.
as the skill of discipline.
Okay, but then don't compare coding to coding. Compare coding to whatever else. Like you compare whatever skill they gave you.
Yeah.
Because if you just say this is app, this is, well, clearly anyone who started earlier will be better. That's
That's my
not. It's
point.
like,
So if your parents had begun to instill discipline in you at a young age,
yeah.
by the time you're 16, it becomes natural to you. You are already, it's like the air you breathe. You're disciplined.
Hmm.
Someone invites you out, I really want to go out. Oh yeah, but I also have an assignment to do, or I also have this thing to do, or I also have this. I need to be able to discipline myself and make sure I get those things done.
Okay, so I would say this for your example, the coding as a young kid set him up for the talent of being able to code, but the discipline of actually making sure he actually goes to coding school or class or whatever
Yeah,
is what got him to still work at a high level, which is to get into Berkeley doing it. Right? Because the skill would have been there because he started from a young age. It's like putting a kid in soccer. He's gonna be better than most kids in
yeah,
soccer by the time he's 20,
yeah.
like or 15 or whatever, because he started at 6, right? But that it's not that part is just a skill.
It's also
The
discipline.
discipline would have been like if you made sure he played soccer 3 times a week,
Yeah,
every week.
that's my point. You have to be disciplined to be able to do that. Essentially,
Yeah.
I think that's what I mean. Yeah, but
Okay.
you made it more clear.
I got you. Now that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to talk to you about how I got disciplined.
Hmm.
I think it started when I moved here to the US when I was 18. I moved by myself when I went to college. And it wasn't so much that I wasn't disciplined because I'm used to doing my work, but now I have to. For
Hmm.
example, I'm living in my dad's house, but my dad's not in the country. So if I don't pay the bills, I don't have lights. If I don't pay the such and such, if I don't service my car, it's the first time I had a car in my life. If I don't make sure that there's 4 tires on that bad boy, if I'm make sure that the engine light's not on, like all these things, like I don't think I have discipline like to do the things I say I do until like a little bit old. Like I think I have it now better, but it started from being reactionary. Like I don't do stuff
Yeah, I
until I
agree.
have to do stuff.
Which ties back to the goal setting.
Yeah. So my goal is just to, at that point, was just, I
Get
didn't even want to
things
be an
done.
engineer, huh?
Get things done.
Get things done. I just didn't want to be homeless, dude. I was so scared that, hey, like, I think when I lived in Qatar, like, it was such a bubble. Like, I didn't believe you could actually
Live on the
fall,
streets.
yeah, live on the streets, fall out of society. Then I came here, I'm like, oh, that's a real thing. Like, and the world will just let you. And then they'll walk right past you. Like I ain't go to school with you, you know? So I'm scared. So I'm like, yo, this can really happen. So I gotta pull my ish together. And like even like, dude, GE classes, like general ed, I'm studying. I don't care. I'm studying, bro.
I was like that too, though.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you started getting disciplined.
you know, I've always had good grades.
Oh, you one of those. I hate those people that
What?
just be passing class without trying.
No, hell, bro, I used to study like crazy.
Oh, you done?
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
hella done.
For sure. Hey,
Damn, I told
I'm not
you.
lying. I'm not lying to say I ain't, happy to
It's
find out. I
amazing we're
just
both in this room, man.
okay, again, speak for yourself, brother. That's crazy. But no, I'm happy that we're both challenged. That's the message.
I was about
Yeah,
to say, you better not say successful, my brother, because
yeah,
you.
no, we're challenged. No, we got some things in our way.
Uh,
It's mostly us, but
that's how it goes, man. It's life, bro.
but